Hey YouTube, Zach with East Coast Guns and Gear here again today. Today we're talking about um, scopes, particularly long-range precision shooting scopes. Um, how do you know if your scope tracks accurately? How do you know if you have a good tracking scope? So when you dial that drop for those drop or windage for those long-range shots, how do you reliably know that that scope's going to do what you ask it to do? The very simple test to just see the accuracy of your tracking of your scope, and we're going to go over that today. This is what I do to track my scopes. There are many different methods. Many people do different things. I'm just going to show you what I do to find out if the tracking is accurate in my scope or not. It's what they call a standard turret tracking box test. And we're going to go over the box test today. For people who don't know and haven't heard of the box test, stay tuned, and hopefully you'll learn a little something today. All right, guys. Say you have a long-range rifle and you just bought it. You threw yourself a nice scope on it, whether it's expensive or on the budget side, and you want to take it out to the range and zero it at 100 yards, as we all do. So you zero the scope at 100 yards with the intent of dialing your sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. Dialing your droppage for your ammo, So if you want to dial to feed in your ballistics, that way you can hold dead on at any distance you're shooting at. So there are two ways to shoot long distance. Either you dial for your bullet drop or you do a holdover with the reticle. Today we're talking about dialing for the bullet drop. And we go out there, we sight in at 100 yards, and we're going to do a box test to show that our scope is tracking properly as intended. And once you're confident that it's tracking as intended, you can have confidence in those longer shots. A scope that will not track accurately and repeatably, you will never shoot good at long range with it, because there's no repeatability. And repeatability is number one. Well, maybe not number one, but very high on the requirement list for long range shooting. You have your dope from your previous engagements, and that dope does you no good if when you dial it in the scope, it doesn't repeat what you're telling it to do. So we're going to go over a simple box test today, and I challenge you guys to take your rifles out there and challenge the scopes you put on it and see if it'll pass or fail a box test. If you do that, please drop a comment below and let me know maybe your brand of scope and how it performed on the box test. I'd be interested in seeing that feedback, as well as like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. And without further ado, let's get on to how we're going to do a box test. All right. Here today we're discussing scope turret tracking. Okay. Now I'm going to show you on this whiteboard how we're going to perform the box test. And I challenge you guys to go out and try it on your own. Take your target. Set it out at 100 yards. Just bear with me, I'll catch you guys up with what I'm doing in 1 minute. All right. Let me adjust the camera so we can see the whole image here. All right. Here's our simple box test. Now I'm looking at this backwards, so bear with me as I point to this stuff. Right here, this dot will be your 100-yard zero. So you'll have your 100-yard zero. You'll shoot one round, assuming your rifle's sighted in. You should be on or very close to your bullseye. That point, now I'm going to use an example and say we're dealing with a 1/4-inch click turret. Now you may have 1/10 mils, you might have 1/4-inch, you might have 1/2 inch, you might have 1/8-inch turret. You got to look on your scope and see what the turret is. We're going to go with 1/4-inch for the ease of math today. So we'll shoot here 100 yards, zero. We will put a dot parallel 5 inches away. Now, we know because of basic math, 20 clicks at a 1/4-inch a click will be 5 inches. So we will dial 5 inches right into our scope, or 20 clicks right into our scope. And if you measure this out at 5 inches, it technically should be close or hit this bullseye. Now from there, we're going to go 20 clicks up. Now, straight vertically up, you're going to put another dot 5 inches up from this one. Fire another round. You should be hitting or very close to this bullseye right here. Now, you're going to take your scope. You're going to dial 20 clicks left. Fire another round, yet again, 5 inches, parallel with this bullseye. And you should put a bullet in or very close to this bullseye. And now you'll finish with 20 clicks down, which should return you to your original zero. And you should put another round within the acceptable accuracy of your rifle to your sight in zero. Now, I would say to have full confidence in this challenge, repeat this 2 or 3 times. 3 times would give you a 3-shot group on every zero. And you should have repeatable accuracy taking you back, yet again, within the criteria of your gun. If you're not shooting a half MOA gun, don't expect to get a 1/2-inch group dialing the box test at each spot. But if you have a 1 to 1 1/4 or whatever MOA gun you have, you should see consistent groups on each bullseye. Now you can also do this with a vertical test as well for your windage, where you zero in, dial 20 clicks up for 5 inches up, shoot a bullseye, dial 40 clicks down for 5 inches down, shoot a bullseye, and then 20 clicks back up to your original zero. Right there. That's another way of doing it. That's, kind of like a ladder test. These are just a couple examples of testing that I would do to gain confidence in the tracking of my scope. Not only are they, they're fun, you get to shoot a couple groups, you get to see the quality and build quality of your scope and how well it tracks, and just how your scope ranks up there with like a good scope. But you should be able to do that over and over and over, and it should track reliable on a good scope. I'm a big fan of like Vortex Vipers, and they have always tracked extremely well for me. Very reliable tracking on those. I have no affiliation with Vortex. However, I do love a good Vortex scope, and I do love their warranty. I mean, they will take care of you for life. So, not saying there's not plenty of other good scope options out there. I want you guys to challenge your scopes and do the box test. Like and subscribe. Like I said, leave a note in the comments what scope you did and how the box test performed for your scope. And until next time, stay safe and protect your home. Zach with East Coast Guns and Gear, out.